Nyam Nyam have got some fantastic spooky recipes for you this Halloween. If you want to get creative and make something a bit fun and different, we've got this ghost strawberry cake lined up for you. Start with some fondant icing to make your decorations. We're going to roll out some white fondant icing and cut it into strips and then into little triangles. These are going to be teeth. When those are ready, you can get some brown fondant icing and use a little bit of water to stick on your white teeth. A row along the top and a row along the bottom. Perfect. Right, let's get out strawberries. We're just going to take a little indent out of one side and stick on your mouth. Push it in so it stays there, and there you have it, a spooky strawberry. Next, get your cake. We're using chocolate cake, and green buttercream icing is going to be layered with 3 layers of this chocolate cake. Then we can coat the outside in purple buttercream icing. You can use any colour you like, but we like bright green and purple. Yay! Drizzle on some green chocolate ganache so it looks like slime, something out of a Ghostbusters movie. Cover the top too. Perfect. Now you can pipe on a few little blobs of green buttercream icing. These are going to make wonderful cushions for your spooky strawberries. There you go. Ready to stick them on. Brilliant. Let's make it even more spooky by adding some fondant tentacles. That's right, looks kind of like an evil octopus ready to break out of the cake. We've just shaped some black fondant icing and stuck on some white circles to those to look like tentacles. Super easy, really. And there you go. Bring out the spooky artist in you. Ooh, yum. Have bundles of fun making this very scary mummy fondant cake. Oh, mummy. All you need is some rock candy. We're going to melt that, smash it up once it's set. Ooh, that's the fun part. Then get your fondant icing, white of course, because we're going to use it to mummify our cake. Just cut it into strips, which we will later wrap around our cake. There you go. Right, time for the cake. Vanilla cake, or any cake you wish. Layering it with buttercream icing, using a food piping bag for ease, and then just coating the entire outside in it too. Ooh, we do love a bit of buttercream. Smoothing it all over. To perfection. Time to have fun with fondant. We can now decorate. Sticking on your strips of fondant onto your nice, smooth buttercream icing surface. Kinda like wrapping up a Christmas present, isn't it? Or should I say Halloween present? Or even Halloween past. It's the mummy, isn't it? Stick on a couple of eyeballs, also made out of fondant icing and edible ink. Add in your toffee glasses. Those are the bits we smashed up earlier from the rock candy. And a bit of raspberry jam, or even red ganache, whatever you like, which kind of looks like blood oozing out of what looks like glass shards. And there you have it. A beautifully mummified vanilla cake. Get ready for Halloween, or just a spooky themed birthday party. Make this gravestone and ghost cake. Ooh, spooky. All you need is some white chocolate, which you're going to melt, and dip in a cookie. Sprinkle on a couple of eyes. That's going to be a ghost. You can make a few of those. Next, get some grey fondant icing and roll it out with a rolling pin and slice it up, cutting it into a gravestone shape. Use some royal icing in a piping bag with a thin-tipped nozzle to draw a border and write whatever you like on your stone. We're writing over the hill. Meanwhile, get your cake. We're using chocolate cake. And layer it with black buttercream icing. coating the entire outside of the cake too. Making a nice, smooth, even surface for our decorations to go on there. A little bit of piping around the bottom edge of our cake. It's all in the finishing touches, you know. And around the top too. And let's do a bit of decorating around the sides too. There you go, look, it's all in the detail. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? Make an indent with a knife, stick in your gravestone, and use some cocktail sticks to just pop in your cookie decorations, your ghosts. Maybe stick one on the side as well. Why not add some crushed biscuits to give the effect of soil? And a few fondant flowers, as you would have on a grave. And there you have it, a spooktastic work of art. Cookies and cake together, woohoo! Want to try some creative baking this Halloween? Ooh, spooky! It's a brain faulty line cake, that's right. All you need is some fondant icing. Get creative, roll them into long thin sausage shapes and then put them aside. Meanwhile, get your cake. We're using chocolate, but use whatever you like. Layer it with buttercream icing, as we love to do. We are using black buttercream icing because it's going to make the brains stand out even more. Use a piping bag for ease to just cover the entire cake and then smooth it over. Ready to add on your curled up fondant icing sausages. So they look kind of like pieces of brain. Paint on some red coloured gelatin. And then add some more black buttercream icing around the edges. Now you're going to drizzle on some red chocolate ganache. And stick in your knife. A bit more chocolate ganache around the edges of the knife. And there you go, an oozy, bloody, brain-filled chocolate cake. So, fancy a bit of brain? I have a great idea for you. Why don't you make this red devil face mask cake? Ooh, perfectly apt for coronavirus. All you need is some fondant icing, bright green of course. We're going to roll that out and cut it into strips. Layering them like this to make the main body of your mask and cutting it to perfection. Now we're going to use some white fondant icing strips to make elastic loops on each side. Now you get your red velvet cake and layer it with black buttercream icing. Ooh, I do love a bit of red velvet. We're going to coat that in red buttercream icing. Let's keep going with the red theme, shall we? It is a red devil cake after all. Now using a knife, just swipe on a little bit of black buttercream icing over what will become the facial area. And stick on your mask and a couple of evil fondant eyes. And let's not forget our horns. Bit of a devil's tail coming round from the back there. And there you have it. A perfectly devilish cake. Fancy a slice? Don't mind if I do. Ooh, spooky. We're going to start by pouring in 1 pack of cake mix to a mixing bowl. Add 180 millilitres of water, 90 millilitres of sunflower oil, and crack in 3 eggs. give it a good whisk. Perfect. Right, time to put our mixture into 4 cake tins which have been greased and lined with baking paper. These are going to bake in the oven at 180 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Once they're ready and cooled, you can tip them upside down, remove the baking paper and slice off the top of each cake. Once those are all done, we're going to layer them up with some jam. Or really, you could use whatever filling you like to stick the layers together. Could be marmalade, jam, cream, buttercream icing, cream cheese filling, whatever takes your fancy. Now we're going to trim around the edges of the piled up cakes to make a shape for a pumpkin. Now, using the same knife, we're going to cut some indents around the sides, like so. Brilliant, this will make it a more realistic looking pumpkin once it's covered. We're going to cut an indent in the top as well. Great, and lather on some more jam. Once that's all covered, we're ready to decorate using fondant icing. Start by rolling out some black fondant icing. Wipe off the white flour and place that to cover about half of the side of your cake. Just smooth it inside the indents. And then roll out some orange fondant icing. We want to roll this one out really big because it's got to cover the entire cake. But before we put it on the cake, let's cut out some facial features for our pumpkin, starting with a mouth. Then the nose. And 2 eyes. Excellent, let's carefully place that on. So we've got the face cut out over the black fondant icing and it looks super spooky. Just pat that on there and cut off the excess. Now let's add a little bit of texture by sticking on some of the excess fondant icing, using water as glue. Next, we're going to make the stalk by rolling out some green fondant icing like so. Thick kind of cylinder shape, which is a bit wider at the bottom, and we're going to cut out some triangles around the edge. Excellent. Using some water, we'll just stick it on top of our pumpkin cake. Patting it down. And there it is, a spooky Halloween pumpkin cake. Awesome! Why not give it a go? Want to go over the top this Halloween season? This monster cake is perfect. All you need is 250 grams of cake mix, 3 eggs, 30 millilitres of oil and 50 millilitres of water. Whisk away in a mixing bowl. Now we're going to pour half of that mixture into a cake mould and the other half we're going to keep in the mixing bowl and add 50 grams of cocoa powder. That's going to make our chocolate cake mix. We'll pour that one into a separate cake mould. Brilliant, now both of those will go in the oven to bake at 180 degrees for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, add 200 grams of sugar with 50 millilitres of water into a pot on the stove and let it simmer away. Now we add 180 grams of egg white with 30 grams of sugar to a mixing bowl and whisk it up till it becomes light and foamy. And we're going to add our sugar water mixture into that, a little bit at a time, whisking all the while. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract goes into there with 1/4 teaspoon of salt for some lovely flavour. 550 grams of butter finally. Whisk that all in. Fantastic. There's our Italian buttercream. Add some food colouring. We're using green and yellow. Meanwhile, your cakes have been taken out of the oven and we're slicing off the tops. Start Starting with our chocolate cake for the base, we're going to pipe on some Italian buttercream icing, smooth it out, and then layer it up with our vanilla cake and more Italian buttercream icing. And chocolate, slicing around the sides because we want to make a dome-like shape. Now we're going to pipe some green buttercream icing to cover the entirety of our cake shape and some fondant icing for the facial features. That's the fun part, stick it on. Now we're going to add our monster hair. That's right, we're using our green and our yellow buttercream icing, piping it on with a serrated edge nozzle to create a fur-like effect. All the way up to the top. And for a finishing touch, we'll add some horns. And how about a little tuft of hair? There you have it, a fantastically happy Halloween monster. Delicious.